All right, so welcome to part two. As you can see here, I've got the Life Sciences 11 Inquiry Project rubric, but I also have the Anatomy and Physiology 12 Inquiry Project rubric. They are essentially the same, they just cover different content pieces. So I want to go over this so that you actually know exactly how you're getting graded, so that nothing's coming out of the blue here. So your introduction is going to be marked based on this criteria. And this is on the course page, so you can see this. And each thing will be graded differently. And you'll see that certain things are graded on a base of 5 and some things are graded on a base of 10. And obviously the things that are based on 10 are just a little bit more important, like your background information, your links to the course topic, your scientific content, and your overall workmanship. So I'll talk about those ones first, and I'll just switch back and forth between these two. One thing that I am going to be looking for is your background information. So, what research did you do? What can you provide me just to, get up to speed with the thing that you specifically are looking into? And then the next one is, link to the course topics and big ideas. So this again sort of ties in quite well with the scientific content. I do want to see, I'm just going to pop both of these open here. I do want to see that some way, somehow, this can connect to the big ideas for these courses. So this is a link to the content for the Life Sciences 11 and Anatomy and Physiology 12 courses. You can see all the content that we cover in the course is here on the right. These are the big ideas. So hopefully, some way, somehow, your project is connecting to this. Please do that so that so you get those marks, and mention how you're connecting this, and maybe in your introduction or in your conclusion, you can talk about how you connected your project to the biological molecules, or to the organ systems, or in life sciences, maybe it connects to the level of organization, or energy transformations, trends in complexity, all these types of things. Some way, somehow, I want to make sure that it connects. Your main body is going to have a couple different areas, though. It's not just that. I want to see your methods. I want to see your data. I want to see the visual content, the correctness of your work. And then in your conclusion, what has been learned? How does this apply to the real world? Were there errors? Were there difficulties? Did you find any bias? Maybe you had a really small sample size. I want to see, like, maybe there's graphs, pictures. There has to be some sort of visual content. It just depends on your project for what that looks like. And then at the end, the presentation, this is sort of just like overall marks. I want to see that there's organization and flow, that there's a good level of workmanship, that there's works cited. So this is an inquiry project. This is a decently large piece of your grade. I do want to see that you've put in the required, effort to, get this grade. And, I do have high expectations. I want this to be a robust, good-looking project. I want you to be proud of it when you finish it. And that's sort of where the overall workmanship and the organization and flow comes in. I want to be able to look at it and understand what's happening. I don't want to have to sift through and, dig deep. It doesn't have to be 100 pages long. It can be short and very concise, but it has to make sure that, it hits all these different things. So one of the things, look at how nice, the template is for my own rubric. I try to make this very visually appealing. I try to make it very understandable, that what the criteria is going to be. I've added a little icon here. It's different icon for life sciences compared to anatomy physiology, but you can look at this and hope, at least to me, I try to make it look really nice. All the different chapter challenges, the different notes, the assignments, everything that I have on the course page, I try to have a very, very nice layout so that it just looks good. Now, I do want to go over the rough draft. So in both courses, you're going to be submitting your rough draft prior to me marking the final submission, because there might be areas where you want to improve on. And when you're doing a test, you're submitting the test, you don't get feedback from me before you submit it. Whereas in this, I do want to provide feedback because it's a big project and it's one specific thing that counts for a lot of marks. So as I say that, please circle your achievement goals so that I can sort of see, what you're working on. And that's going to take place in the template. So if I minimize this over to what the template looks like, this is what I want you to submit. This is just the anatomy and physiology one, but make sure that you indicate what goal you're trying to get for this, because that will be important for me as I'm sort of figuring out, looking at your project. If you're trying to get a B, I'm going to want to see that, each segment of your project is roughly at a B level. If you're trying to get an A plus, I'm going to be, have a lot higher expectations. And so that's how I'm going to be able to provide suggestions and commendations. So, you might, have circled that you want an A plus. You're an, anatomy and physiology student. Maybe you're a life sciences 11 student, so you're trying to get a B. If you're got some really great background information, I'll thank you. I might make a little comment that says, you made some great points, and I can list some of them. If you're trying to get something, maybe I need to write, looking for more detail, could use another source. If I'm looking to make sure that you're roughly in an A plus range, whereas maybe you listed, really, really great research methods and things like that. So this is not going to be for marks whatsoever. This rough draft is just to give you formative feedback. And formative feedback is, feedback that's going to help you when you actually submit the final version. And so, as you're completing, I hope to be able to, provide some good feedback that will help you as you move forward. So this is part 2. I look very forward to seeing what you guys are going to be completing for your projects, and I hope that you really, really enjoy this section of the course.